An important battle then for those aged 12 to 15. This is your 190-70 category, and this has been well fought for all season long. The championship leader, though, Rhys Stevenson, takes the command at the moment with pole position. Lucas Brown alongside Dan Goodman goes from third, and Tom Lewis starts from fourth position. Alfie Davidson is going from fifth place with Luke Biddle in sixth position with a very quick change of bike. Greg Marshall seventh, Ted Wilkinson in eighth, and then three riders not setting a time: Steve Jennings, Peter Willis, and Sullivan Moonsey there, finding himself in 11th position. Worth noting, though, here, only two riders so far in this championship have attended every event, and they start first and third.
Yeah, they're all very close, and of course this is, I might say, one of the smaller categories in terms of numbers. It was interesting to watch. I think it was Daniel Goodman, I think it was, at Wilton Mill last time. He was at the back of the field, but he was in third place, and it was tough actually to keep up with the two leaders, but he did very well in doing so as well. So the riders now making their way out onto the formation lap, and touching, of course, riders with a quick changeover, getting straight back out into another race. And I've found in the past when I've done that before, you do a double entry, you'll do one race category, go straight into another one. And people sometimes say it's going to be tiring, you're going to be worn out after the race, but you're still in there. Of course, you're going to be keeping fit and training. You've got the fitness to run another race in succession. But you've got the advantage as well of being nicely warmed up, and you know where all the lines are as well, how the track's riding. So you can get straight out into your second race, which we'll see in a moment, and be out of the box fast.
You've also got that adrenaline factor, which is going to be really key in terms of making sure that you're not dropping any levels. You're still in that racing zone, that frame of mind where you go out there and try and battle it on really, really aggressively, trying to make sure that this one all works out. Looks like we've got 8 at the moment to the start that will be trying to make sure it all plays out for them. But this is going to be a very, very interesting race. Is this going to be a case of runaway from Rhys Stevenson, who has 4 wins to the name? Only defeats so far this season have come in the form of Ash Barnes last time out. This is all about points and trying to wrap up a championship as early as possible.
Well, let's wait and see. It's a class that's low on numbers but high on action. Let's see how this pans out as the green flag drops. Here they go into the first corner, and a nice little start there from the 23 of Rhys Stevenson. Already gets away well. Looks like the 57 of Daniel Goodman gets away strongly. He holds on to the second place. Lucas Brown in third. Good clean start. Everyone appears to have got away cleanly, but certainly Rhys Stevenson making a very good start. Daniel Goodman living with him, though, in second place as they make their way down towards Luna Bend for the first time. Stevenson trying to break away, and he'll be looking to get a good solid first lap in and try and break away from the field.
Well, it's all about now momentum, and already you can see that gap starting to form as they hit Conrod for the very first time. Second, third, fourth, fifth, all starting to hit that run and trying to stay within a range as they go up the hill. The Pentith climb, one of the key parts to the circuit here, over the Coward Summit, and then back down the hill once again, looking for action. There is the 30 at this stage of Tom Lewis, having a really strong battle at the moment as they are 1 over the line for the moment, and it is Stevenson, of course, in control, but Davidson there in the 81, jumping up into 4th place. Ideal for the start then on the 81, but for the time being is not out of the woods.
Very fast start to the race. We've not seen Luke Whittle go around. I think he may have pulled into the pits, but only 5.7 seconds covering those 7 riders at the start of the race. So it's a very competitive, very quick start to the race here. Rhys Stevenson making his way around Luna Bend onto the back straight there. We see the number 57 of Daniel Goodman coming under some pressure from Lucas Brown in third. Not close enough to go for a pass here, but it's still very close. They go down Conrod straight.
Was that an issue for the 29 there, just behind, who looked slow, was starting to slow, looks okay for the moment. Just looked like he stepped up a little bit then, going on through. He's fine for the moment, but it looked just for a hint, a small second there, that he just sat up out of the bike ever so slightly, heading up to the next section of the track. I wasn't expecting that much, but ultimately that has meant that the gap has crawled up over a second here between himself and Goodman.
Yeah, he seemed to recover there. Whatever the issue was, it was really perhaps a bad line choices down the inside. Nice little move there from number 30, Tom Lewis, sneaking down the inside on that second corner. makes the move stick. It was a lovely move down that inside, and very important on a track like this where there's so many lines, just to prevent the repass on the exit. Classic block pass there, and the number 30 Tom Lewis moves up a position and looking strong through Lunar Corner. Still Reece Stevenson leading the way. Daniel Goodman, incidentally, with the fastest lap of the race, 57.34, as the leading group of riders, there's only 7 in the race, of course, so they're all pretty close, make their way down the Conrod Straight. And here we see now, look at 57 here, Daniel Goodman. He was the fastest lap last time round. Let's have a look as they cross the line. Looks to me like Goodman has picked up the pace, and yes, indeed, matching Stevenson for pace at the front.
Almost to the 100th of a second, just 100th difference, but it was in Goodman's favour as they went on through. So now Stevenson is knowing, okay, we're in a race now, I can hear the bike behind me, and I don't want to be dealing with it too much as they go on through up the hill. 7 riders all to the party, all trying to get themselves in, but Goodman knows that it's got to be a lot more than just picking up a win here and a win there. It's 25 points for a race win in this championship, and it doesn't matter how many first places you get, if your main challenger is second all the way to the end, it's still that championship.
And Daniel Goodman there just checking over his shoulder. I think that Lucas Brown is starting to pick up the pace as well. We just see him coming into shot there as they go into the final corner. The 29 of Lucas Brown, only, well, less than 2 seconds covering the top 3 as they cross the line that time round. So realistically, you could say any one of these 3 could be in with a shout. At the moment, Goodman does appear a bit quicker on the first, more technical part of the track. Stevenson seems to pull away down Conrod Straight slightly, so it's all equaling itself out nicely at the moment. So they make their way down towards Lunar Corner once again. We're just cutting back slightly to see our battle with Tom Lewis and Alfie Davidson. A bit further back, we've got Sullivan Mounsey and Greg Marshall just dropping the pace slightly in 7th place on the number 19. Luke Bithell appears to be out of the race, but here again we see Tom Lewis holding on to that position through Lunar Corner, the number 8 just behind of Davidson. All very close indeed. So as we said before, low on numbers this class, but very high on action.
And this is what the battling is all about. Davidson wants back in, up the rise once again, up the climb and over the Coward Summit. This is about trying to angle for that inside, but again, not going to find it then as they go through the next right-hander and start to attack then the next part of the lap. It's turn 1 once again. They're halfway through the race with Stevenson in control, in command of this one at the front, but what's key there is a big wide line, trying Davidson to just get into the peripheries ever so slightly and be worried, where is that bike behind? What am I going to do to try and defend it?
Davidson at the moment appears to be a little bit quicker, just trying to find a way through, but Lewis guiding that bike very well. Oh, he just drifted wide right on cue there, just lost a bit of momentum, like you say. And that allows Davidson through. The leaders make their way down the Conrod Straight, but now let's see if Lewis can fight back. It's a nice line out of Lunar Corner. Now he's going to try and go for the move down the straight. Here he goes, right-hand side, and a nice drag down the straight. And despite that mistake, the number 30 of Tom Lewis retakes the position at the front. Stevenson pulls away slightly from Goodman. Here they come, though, this battle, though, for 4th position. Lewis, oh, as Davidson has a look down the inside, couldn't quite make the move stick, but still only 2.2 seconds at the front. And action throughout the field in this Race Fasteners Pro Light Race Mini GP 190.70.
That has to be a mistake then by Goodman whilst the cameras were away, because that gap being up at 1.93 seconds, and the last lap it was only about half a second. So mistakes from Goodman allows Brown back into the party, and 1.93 seconds is very, very tough to go and claw back here at this wonderful Three Sisters circuit. But once more, it's a case of second and third going at it, and Goodman can't afford to lose any more time. And there's a little look then in terms of that one being all trying to be sorted out with a nice neat bow on top. That one staying pretty much as is at the moment. Brown ahead of Goodman now here into that 2nd place. So what was clear is it was a mistake out of the final corner.
And it's very fine margins as well, because the gap only 3.1 seconds covering the top 3. So Stevenson just keeping it nice and consistent. I think that was Lewis made a mistake on the final corner, ran wide, so he'll sacrifice that position. In a race like this, where there's not much in terms of battling for position, it's all about staying consistent and keeping those good lines, keeping the good lap times in position. and very, very easy just to drift off the pace slightly if you make a small mistake. And as you can see, Stevenson just going out of shot there down to Conrod Straight. It's starting to turn into a battle here between second and third place as Goodman tries to keep up with the number 29 of Lucas Brown in second place. Stevenson keeping it nice and smooth, and it looks like he's broke away at the front.
He certainly has, and there's not much you can say about it. It's the Rhys Stevenson way, it's the Rhys Stevenson way even at this point, absolutely waltzing away with this one at the moment to the tune of 2.6 seconds. And now you start looking at, say, Brown, Goodman, second and third. Oh, how much Stevenson would love it here if one Daniel Goodman could just not find a way through on Lucas Brown, extend that gap out even further, an extra 9 points gap on the championship would be the sweetest of gifts.
And at the moment, watching them going around, it looks like Goodman is having to work very hard here to keep up with Lucas Brown, who really has put a good turn of pace in on these final few laps. There's Stevenson speeding out of shot there as we concentrate on the third place. Daniel Goodman gets a drive down the straight. Nice move there. He's going to try the outside line. I don't think that Goodman was expecting that. Tried the outside line for whatever reason. Lucas Brown just seemed to get a bad line out of the Lunar Bend and really lost out on the straight, so they make their way down to the penultimate lap. But Lucas Brown recovers well into the first corner, and there we see the effect of such a long straight there is that a mistake on the corner and it just affects almost half a lap.
It certainly does, and you can't afford to have many mistakes here, especially in the latter half of the lap as they all funnel on towards the next section, the S's right now. It's all about that transfer and trying to put the power down as early as possible through here. And now the Lunar Bend comes along, and this is a case of, okay, it's a couple of bike lengths, but there's still time, and it's all about picking up the run here onto Conrod. And once more, it looks like 157 in with a chance.
Gets a nice drive out to Lunar Bend there. Great riding there from Daniel Goodman. Rhys Stevenson looks set to take the checkered flag, but all the action here is for second place. Stevenson round the final corner to take the flag, but here comes the battle for second as Brown has a look down the inside, but a brilliant move on the final lap. Rhys Stevenson takes the checkered flag, but on the final lap there, a fantastic move from Daniel Goodman on Conrod Straight to snatch second from Lucas Brown, who looks so strong in second. It's going to be a drag race to the line a bit further back though between Alfie Davidson and Tom Lewis, but there is the winner of the race. Rhys Stevenson had to work hard to break away, but certainly controlled the race well.
And Lewis actually just took it away from Davidson on the final lap then, so that one a change for fourth and fifth place towards the end. It will be Munsey in sixth and Marshall in seventh. Bithell not making it around a lap, as there's a little bit of conversation there going on between the 29 and the 57 in terms of how that last lap move seemingly went about. But some brilliant work being done there in terms of that event. You can't really argue too much about it. It was one rider head and shoulders above the rest.
Very good there from Rhys Stevenson. And we move on now, of course, to our pit bikes. It's the Parker Racing Stock 140s